Frank, thank you so much for joining me to celebrate 30 years of dirt. And we're not talking gardening here, so
No.
talk me through this.
I'm doing a show which is about my struggle to become a clean comedian. To be honest, my struggle has miserably failed, but I battle on. But it's also about the way people view comedians who tell dirty jokes, and they look down on them a bit, and it's seen as a lesser art.
Have you had to change that over the years?
I don't have any powers of invention whatsoever, so everything in my act is stuff that's happened to me usually. And the sort of things that used to happen to me don't happen to me anymore, so that's cleaned up my act naturally.
No more dirty things?
No, I'm a happy family man nowadays.
So a very different show, but a very nice one to be back in Edinburgh with, and you love playing here, don't you?
I hate to say this in the Scottish context, because you know when you get stars saying, I really love your city.
Or like, whatever.
But I do really love Edinburgh.
Well, tell me about that first time that you came here. What was that like? Because you used all your savings, didn't you?
I'd been the year before and seen some comedy, including David Baddiel, actually. He was one of the first comics I ever saw. And obviously I thought, well, I can do better than... No, I was inspired by him. So I had £408 in the post office. And I phoned up a venue here and said, can I book for next year? So I paid my life savings before I'd actually done any comedy. I'd never done any stand-up. No.
None at all?
I had some terrible deaths on stage. And I think if I hadn't put my life savings into that stupidly, I would have quit comedy and thought, I can't stand this. But I wasn't going to waste 400 quid, so I kept going through all the pain and disappointment.
And towards the end of the month, did it get better and better?
No. I got 2 reviews and they both said, well, this was sort of rubbish, but this guy does seem to have something, and that was enough to keep me going forward.
Over the years, as you came back, did you begin to really fall in love with the place?
I did a show with Steve Coogan where I was the support act and he was the main thing. And I got all the good reviews, so that was great. Obviously, it slightly fractured our relationship, but he got over it. And then the next year I came here and won what was then called the Perrier Award, which was the big comedy thing. And that was really exciting. I still remember the feeling of walking off stage and the stage manager shouting, you need to come back on. And I went and they were standing there with the prize and flowers and champagne and all that.
And what about in general, just some of the special times you've had here? Can you remember any kind of standout funny times?
Well, my child was conceived here.
Memorable?
I think we'll leave that one there. But it was, if you're interested, it was Advocates Close, just off the Royal Mile. Not the actual close, but a flat that was in there.
You love radio. What is it about that? Does it give you more freedom than the TV?
As my face has fallen into decline over the
Never.
years, I think radio is good for that. There's something about not being seen that makes it more intimate. Everything feels like a late night phone call.
Yeah. The podcast. So, first of all, where did this love of poetry come from?
I read a poem in a school assembly when I was 11. I was surprised how much I liked just saying it, just feeling it on my lips. And then poetry started to seep into my life. And so I just saw it as a sort of private thing that I did for pleasure. And then I was offered a podcast, and then suddenly it was getting like 5-star reviews, and I really didn't expect that. It's just a labour of love.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Yeah.
I personally don't write it.
Oh, do you not?
I like it too much to write it. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't want to poison the well by putting my terrible poetry into it.
Well, I'm going to poison the well.
Are you? What,
Yeah.
you've got a poem?
I've written one specially.
Oh.
It's so bad, right? But you can.
I'll be the judge of that. No, I won't.
You're the man to judge, right? Dearest Frank Skinner, born in 1957, a man with funny bones sent down from comedy heaven. It was in old Edinburgh he truly became a star. Winning the Perrier Award, we knew that he'd go far. The television beckoned with Baddiel by his side. Football jokes and sarcasm, truly quite the ride. 3 lines brought them football glory, even if just in song. Room 101 so loved, he rarely put a foot wrong. Now back on stage in Edinburgh and with a poetry podcast to boot, Frank, thank you for making us smile. It's truly been a hoot.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, why bother with the interview? You could have just read that and I could have sort of interpreted it in modern dance. It's my life. You've just rhymed my life.
It's like this is your life in
Yeah,
form.
There should be more poetry now on television. They should do the news in rhyme.
We can start a show, Frank. We'll
That would be
bring
great.
it back.
A totally rhyming show.
Yeah.
No, well done.
Oh.